or is that going on?
Yes, I'll do that right now. Wait, I think I see him.
I think
here.
the mayor's dialing
Yeah,
in.
I see him. Hello, Mayor?
Yeah,
Hi, okay,
I can hear you, but I have no video.
correct. You're through the audio,
All I have is the audio, no video.
correct. We're gonna try to do it behind the scenes and try to get you in through video, okay?
Okay.
You guys aren't hearing that lightning, are you?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
No. I
No,
think it's about to stop. I'm outside, so I'm gonna have to unmute myself till we get started.
No, it is, Jamie, it is tapering off, yes.
Yes, a little bit over here too.
Yep. Where's Willie, by the way?
He's right there.
I don't see him on mine.
Yeah. William, say something. Bobby's looking for you.
Yeah, I can see him. Hey, Bob, did you get a haircut?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Willie, yeah, I hunkered up, you know?
That was a great speech, Bob, for Memorial Day.
William, that would be a no. Thank you, Jamie.
Can you hear me?
You
Can anybody hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you, Chief. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, okay, well, let's get the meeting started. I guess I don't have to see you guys.
Okay, you don't have to see us. Just call a meeting, will you?
I want to see you.
All right. Yeah, is everybody there?
Yep.
Yes,
All right, let's start the meeting.
okay,
Call
roll
the roll.
call. Mayor Bain,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
I'm here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Here.
Councilman Petrolanda.
Here.
Okay, we go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Ready.
I
Pledge
pledge
allegiance
allegiance
To the
flag
to the flag
Of the United
United
States
States of America.
of America,
and to the republic
Republic
for which it
for
stands,
which we
stand.
stand,
one
One
nation,
nation.
under
nation,
God,
God,
indivisible,
Indivisible.
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all. Like the
All
flag,
right.
Erica.
All right. Okay, again, and then next business is an open forum. I don't know who said that, but open forum?
That was the city clerk, sir.
Oh, okay.
Mayor,
Yes,
before we start, I want to make an announcement. Tonight is the award ceremony at the school that I'm at, Milam's. So I'm going to be kind of in between both. This is the essence of being in two places at the same time. So our presentation is going to start at 6:30. So I'm kind of going to be in between the meeting and the kids. All right.
all right.
No.
All right, we're gonna go to open forum. Anybody want to speak in open forum? Erica?
Yes, I would like to announce that anyone who would like to publicly speak to please dial 305-805-5151. The meeting ID is 863-9512-4146, followed by the pound sign There's no participant ID. Press the pound sign again. And to comment, please press *9. Okay, I have someone here. The phone number ending in 733. You're unmuted.
Hi, this is Triana Florio and Marty Vizor on the line. Are you there?
Yes, Ms. Florio, go ahead.
Hi, this is Triana Florio and Marty Yes, Ms. Florio, go ahead. Hi, this is Triana Florio and Marty
Erica, I think that it would be helpful if we have the speaker mute their TV or whatever audio device they're using because we're getting a lot of feedback.
Feedback.
Yeah, Heidi, right?
have the speaker mute their TV or whatever device they're using. We're getting a lot of feedback. Artie, Jill, are you there?
Yeah, are
Yes.
you, yeah,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Mute your computer.
Mute the computer?
Yes. Okay.
How about now?
Go ahead, Artie.
I can't tell if they can hear me though.
You're on. We're just delayed
we
on
hear
the
you.
after 10
Loud and
seconds.
clear.
Go ahead and speak.
Okay, good. Good evening, council members. As you know, we had our parade this Saturday, and it was a huge success. Triana has a quick video we'd like to share with you. It's 6 minutes long. She'll send you the link to you, Mr. Alonso. If you can somehow, when you're ready, patch it in and maybe show it like last week when you showed the route that we were going to take. Whenever you get that, Diana, you're sending that?
Yes, it's sent.
Okay, it's sent. So whenever you guys pop that up, I can't hear you, but you can kind of nod your head, Mr. Alonso, or whoever's going to post it, and I'll stop talking. Meanwhile, while that's going, so it's a short video, something we put together, 6 minutes long. There's some people that I want to thank right off the bat. Council members, all council members, Ms. Bain, Mayor Bain, Spencer Dino, Mayor, of course, of Virginia Gardens, were all helpful in putting this event together. I don't see the police chief. Is he not attending the meeting? You can just shake your head. I can't, like I said, I can't hear anyone.
He's Chief Guzman is on. He's just muted right now, but he's on.
Oh, so he can actually hear, he can hear me though? Amy?
Yes.
Well, okay. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the police department, both Virginia Gardens and Miami Springs. All of the officers there were true professionals. They were the utmost respect for all the kids, the parents. They were helpful. They constantly got with me and Triana, asked us what we needed, how things were going. We always touched bases. A special thank you to Robert Castillo, Frank Perez, and also all the officers, and including Omar Luna from your rec department. All these individuals were instrumental in this event going through flawlessly. I received, and Triana, after the parade, I know at least myself, 30 texts from all the parents thanking us for such a wonderful event. The weather held off. I think the good Lord kind of had his we had his blessing and we got the thing without any torrential downpour, which we can't say for the rest of the weekend. It rained the rest of the weekend like we're all, just like it's raining right now. But if you can play the video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about the kids. That we do this and we did it for the kids. And when you see the smile on these kids' faces, it's priceless. We had, I think in total, Brianna, correct me if I'm wrong, around 60 cars, 62 cars, with parents and the graduates, not only Miami Springs students, but also students from neighboring high schools that the students reside in either Miami Springs or Virginia Gardens or the town of Medley. So I've also like to thank the fire department. That was a surprise to me that they actually showed up as well. I didn't know they were coming out. So it was we had an enormous crowd, believe it or not, at the high school. The majority of their teachers showed up for it, and they were at the high school location. We also had nice crowds around Deer Run and across the street from the recreational center. But throughout the entire route, it was nothing but joy and happiness to these outstanding kids, and we had a wonderful time. So if you could, I'd like to take a second and maybe show the video if we can. Is that possible?
I wanted to indicate that at this time it's not. So what I'll do, I will forward the video to each of the council members and they can view it that way.
Erica, can you put it up can you put it up on our website too? Can you
Yes,
upload
of
it to
course.
website?
Of course.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that something that we could, can we view it or we have to do it at a later date? I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, I don't think you can hear me.
We're gonna have to do it at another date. I don't think we can do it right now. We'll put it on the website and put it on to maybe next meeting if we're can meet in person. We'll put it on that next meeting. But I don't think we can. I mean, I can't even get into the meeting. I'm talking on my phone, so I don't know what's going on. But
right.
I think we're gonna have to. The rain,
probably just all the rain, same thing. Yeah, we have a delay as well. But
yeah,
in reality, that's basically it. I just wanted to thank everyone and the city and everybody involved, and again the police department that played the major role. Mr. Perez, Officer Perez, and Officer Castillo were in contact with me throughout all the way to the end, actually. And we didn't have any incidents, no accidents, no injuries, no nothing. So,
and also,
the chief would like to speak, but you need to unmute him. Chief?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. No, it was indeed, I was in contact with Lieutenant Perez, who was in charge of the event, and everything went well. The coordination between us and the Virginia Gardens police officers worked extremely well, but we've always been able to work well with them. And I think what was important that for the success was the communication between Lieutenant Perez and Artie and Ms. Florio, the constant communication. I think that's was the key to the success of the event.
And we also want to go ahead and thank Triana and Artie, who were spearheaded with their team to go ahead and do something like this for these seniors. And I'm just so happy that everything turned out all right. And hopefully they go on to a greater and better future than they had to have in 2020 graduation. And maybe this will make them harden and want to excel even harder to make this country a little bit better. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, the funny thing is, council members, is we've had some of the younger siblings from the graduates, and they're now requesting that we do their graduation celebration the same. That they don't want to go to an indoor facility and just sit there, that they saw how much fun their older siblings had, and they say that next year they'd like to have the same thing for them. So we're going to hold this for us. This is special. This is special for us. So, Chief, you have nothing to worry about.
That's up to you. That's up to you and Triana if you want to do that.
My job is to worry, unfortunately.
I'd just
Anyways,
like to add,
Triana, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'd just like to add, thank you on my behalf as well. Same Officer Perez Castillo, we're very, very helpful. Thank you so much, Chief Guzman, for, making it happen with us. And just to add, it was just a community thing. That was the great thing about it. It was public school kids, it was private school kids, charter school kids. We even had homeschool kids that were so grateful to be invited, because I guess, they don't really usually participate in these kind of school events. So thank you all for making it happen with us.
All right.
Yeah, please watch the video when you get a chance.
You got it.
It'll make you smile.
Congratulations
get your cars
to
out
the
of the
parents
street,
and
Artie.
graduates.
Thank you so much.
Get your cars out
Thank
of
you,
the street,
council
Artie.
members. Yeah, I'm gonna swim down to you in a minute.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else for open forum?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you again, council members.
Erica, anybody else for open forum?
If anyone else would like to make a public comment, please dial *9. I don't see anyone else, sir.
Okay, we're going to go on then. We got the approval of the council minutes for the 6A, approval of the council minutes, May 11th, 2020 regular meeting. I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Zapata? Councilman Best? Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda?
Yep.
Mayor Bain?
Yes. We go on to a consent agenda. We have 9A and B. Anybody want to pull any of them before they read them? Okay, I guess go ahead and read them out there, Tammy.
This is a recommendation by Recreation that council waive the competitive bid process and approve an expenditure to Firepower Displays Unlimited LLC in the amount of $16,000 for the 4th of July fireworks display, as funds were approved in the fiscal year 1920 budget.
And B?
B, this is a recommendation by the Police Department that council approve an expenditure in the amount of $10,800 to United States Canine Academy, the best responsible quote after obtaining 3 written quotes attached for 1 canine, as funds were approved for $15,000 in the fiscal year 1920 budget.
Okay, so we're not spending all that money. It's a little bit under the budgeted. Anybody hear me?
I hear you.
We hear you. We hear you.
I hear you.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for 9A and B.
Motion to approve consent agendas 9A and B is read.
I'll second it, but I have
I
some
guess-
questions. I have some questions regarding A.
Okay, you seconding it?
I'll second it.
Did you second it?
Yes.
All right, then we'll open it up for discussion.
Yeah, Mayor, if I may, I wanted, if Tammy or William could explain, are we having the virtual display, or is this over the,
you know, what is the plan? Because at the last meeting, I know we discussed that there were several options as to having the fireworks. So how is this money, how's this event going to be held?
At the last meeting, we decided that we were going to have a fireworks parade or a fireworks show, but we wanted to wait until closer to the date to see whether we were going to have a virtual one or we were actually going to allow people to see the show. So that decision will be made sometime in June. But this is just to set up the funds to have the fireworks show.
Okay, so then my next question would be, if it's virtual, William, would that be that the show would actually go on and we would record it and show it online during that time?
Omar?
Yes, basically, so we will be recording it either on a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and on YouTube, but it'll be posted at that time live. So you'll be able to go to YouTube like the same way they're watching our meetings now, very similar to that. It'll be at the same time as the fireworks.
Then I guess I would like the council to consider, if it's going to be virtual, that's a lot of money to spend to watch something on video. I'm all for it if it turn, and I know we have to wait. I know we can't decide now. I totally realize that you know, things evolve every week. But is it possible to say that if we have the ability to hold it and the residents that want to come can come, you know, practicing social distancing, and I know that'll be difficult, we spend the money, and if not, if it's going to be virtual, that we just hold on to the money and not hold it. It seems like a lot of money to spend for virtual display.
Yeah, I think that's a question.
I think you're,
and I think the manager has to know. I think we need to know what the contract says.
Well, if you guys don't mind,
jumping the gun.
can I say something? For it to be virtual, we have to have fireworks. So for us to have a virtual, we're showing the actual fireworks that are being shown off at the golf course.
No, I understand that, Omar. And what I'm suggesting is that if the option, if it has to be virtual, then we don't have it. I think saving $16,000, especially, you know, with our budget as it's going to be, particularly, I just don't see spending $16,000 for a virtual. So what I'm asking is, when do we have to decide by? And I know we can't decide whether the residents can come see it or not, whether we can have a close to normal event. How would the contract be so that if it turns out that it would have to be virtual, then my suggestion would be not to hold it at all?
I think that would have to happen before at our next meeting in June, Maria.
Is that possible, Omar, to wait till the next meeting with the contract?
Look, I think you're jumping the gun, Maria, and also Councilman Mitchell. And also, I asked anybody who wanted to pull one of the items off and discuss it before it went to consent. The bottom line is, I think we're jumping the gun. As long as, even if we don't do it this year with a contract, that money's paid for. We'll do double one the next year or later on down the road. But I think we're predicting something we can't predict.
I don't see how we can jump the gun, Mayor, when we're 2 meetings away from the event. So, you know, I think that's one of our problems is that we delay things at the last minute.
All right. Then let's go like this. Let's go ahead. Maria, Councilman Mitchell, you said a lot. Let's go ahead and pull A off the agenda. Pull it off. Let's vote on B. Can I have a re-motion?
Re-motion to approve consent agenda 9B.
Second.
Okay. Can I have a vote?
Vice Mayor Zapata,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay. We're going to William. Do you have the contract in front of you for the fireworks? And if we do establish not to do it, use it for the next year, is that a possibility?
Omar's got the contract with him. Let me just point out that as we do every year, Virginia Gardens also contributes $3,000 storage. So the net cost of the city is 13,000. But Omar's got the contract, and Omar?
So the contract basically says that 30 days out of from July 4th, we're supposed to basically, commit to the contract. If we cancel within the 30 days, there is a penalty. The penalty is not the full 13,000, but there's a small penalty. I don't know if they'll allow us to carry it over to next year. I don't think they'll do that. But I can call tomorrow and find out. Now, with that said, I've polled several residents in town. And again, this is just an opinion of mine, but I live here and I've polled several residents, and I'd say almost 70% of them have told me they could watch it right from their house, or they know someone that they can go to their house and watch it. So that's kind of why I propose doing it live so that there's residents that could watch it. And then I propose the virtual if we have a small percent that can't watch it.
Okay,
that's kind of where
Omar,
we lead on it.
Okay.
Omar, let me ask
you. Where are you? Wait a minute, Bob.
Omar.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Omar, what's the cost of doing a virtual? Is there any money cost to doing the virtual?
No, not really. It's something that we've talked to George and Daniel about, and they feel comfortable that they could do it with a tripod or getting on a basically on a truck with a ladder or something, and they could do it without us running into a cost associated to it.
Okay, so your thought is
similar to the way we did the parade.
Correct.
This last Saturday.
So Omar, your thought is the majority of Miami Springs could get to some area to watch it, and then the people that might not be able to get to an area or a home or a friend to watch it can watch it virtually. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't see why we cannot continue, in my mind, delaying and not having some kind of, this goes back to the parade. We're talking about stuff that all of a sudden we can't do anything. I think we're smart enough to go ahead and have the fireworks and figure out how people can watch it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask for a vote to allow the fireworks to continue.
I think I would just like to say that if we have 30 days before and it's going to be virtual, I would like to say $16,000, because a virtual, we don't need anyone to videotape it. This is very different from the senior parade. The senior parade was an event for the seniors, and it was an experience for the seniors. So let's not compare them together. This is an experience for the seniors and their parents. If we're talking about spending $16,000 to show fireworks virtually on our city website, I doubt people are going to be doing that, and I think we'll have to be responsible about spending $16,000. So unless
I'm not going to vote. I'm not. I'm not.
I don't think. I think. Listen. Let me say something. This is apples and oranges here. Quite frankly, it's apples and oranges. It's do we do it or we do not, or do we, based on the contract, consider that the first meeting in June we discuss this again. If it's in accordance with the contract, then that would be the way to go. There's no question about it.
I agree with you, Councilman Best. I think that would be great if Omar could find out if we could delay this to June, our first meeting in June, and decide by then. I think by then, we're talking a month out, we'll have a pretty good idea with the state and the county whether these the fireworks. I mean, this is something every municipality and every facing of fireworks.
Well, not only that. There's other municipalities that are going to be weighing in on this the same way as we are tonight. There's no question.
Absolutely, and we'll have more information at the next.
Do you guys really think? Do you guys really think that the other municipalities and the big fireworks that are going off on the 4th of July that they're not going to do them at the beaches and everything, whether people can get out or not? I'll tell you what. You guys make a motion, whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to vote for anything to delay this or not to do it. So whoever wants to make the motion to delay this to the next meeting or delay it situation, make the motion. Let's get it over with.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we discuss this again, our first meeting in June, when there's more time down the road to consider this more effectively than we are tonight, because right now we're not there. Motion, sir.
I'll second
Okay,
that.
I got a second.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
No.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
No. Okay, we go on to, and next time when we do this in proper procedure, as somebody on these telephones always wants to go for proper procedure, when anybody's asked to pull a consent agenda item off for discussion, please do that before we go into the consent agenda. I mean, some people have been sitting on here long enough to know when they want to pull it and when they're asked the right question.
Mayor,
All right,
I've
we
been
go to
sitting here up
10A.
long enough to know, sir.
Well, you're not the one that did the discussion. It was Councilwoman Mitchell. We'll go to 11 new business, 11A resolution.
Wait,
11A resolution.
I'm with you, sir.
Okay, I'm waiting for, I guess, the city attorney.
I know,
She's reading
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
She's
Heidi.
not reading what she's supposed to be.
Or Mayor, I'll read it for you. It's a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, ratifying all emergency orders issued and actions taken by the city manager related to novel coronavirus/COVID-19 and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, motion to move that.
I second that.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes, we go to 11B resolution.
Resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, providing for the third amendment to the fiscal year 2019-2020 general fund budget to record expenses related to AC replacement for the community center and motor mediation at City Hall, revenues from the Neat Streets grant for citywide tree planting, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve
I'll
11B.
entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 11B.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. We go to resolution 11C.
I'm back to read that, Mayor. I'm sorry. I just had I just had a call from a resident about some flooding going on in the city, so I had to get on with Tom Nash to discuss that with him. So this is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, approving an agreement for access to certain exempt information maintained by the Miami-Dade County property appraiser, providing for authorization and providing for an effective date. Basically, what this is on the tax rolls that we receive from the county, usually there's a difference in total taxable value, and it's due to certain properties that are, for example, law enforcement person owns it, so they're exempt from being released to the city. So what this does is allow them to give us that information just for internal use in the city.
Is that the property owner itself?
Yes, when you have property owners that are in law enforcement, they're usually their information is not shown on the tax rolls that are released to the city.
William,
So-
is there
so
a
now
reason?
this was-
William, is there a reason for that?
I guess, Heidi, privacy issues because they're law enforcement?
There's always been for many years a state law that provides an exemption from public records for certain public officials, such as building officials, police officers, and others. So those exemptions have existed for a long time, and that's why their addresses, if you look up certain individuals' addresses, like a state attorney, for example, you won't be able to find it online through the property appraiser's office. So during the last legislative session, I believe it was 2019, the legislator enhanced those protections. And so the property appraiser's office, not just in Miami-Dade, but throughout the state, the property appraisers are requesting that local governments that receive information from the property appraiser agree to abide by the confidentiality. So it's basically a provision that we would have to abide by anyways. They're just making it a contractual requirement.
Hey, Heidi, would you agree that that's a benefit to the city?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to announce, I just lost power.
So
I don't
did
know if
I,
anyone
Maria.
Okay.
So did we. So did we. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Motion to move the item.
Me too.
I have a
I
motion.
got it first. Did I get a second?
I
I
second
got it
that.
first. Did I get a second?
I second that.
Okay.
Got power back.
All right. All right. Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrananda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
No. We go to 11D, request by Mayor Billy Bain to discuss the 2020 River Cities Festival funding. Is William there,
He is.
or you have to leave?
No, he's there. He's there, Mayor.
Just needs
I'm
to.
here.
There you go.
Okay. Explain to these nice council persons what happened.
Okay, this is on the item for River Cities.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I contacted the River Cities Festival Committee or the board last week. We've been in touch, and they provided the information that we needed, and they reimbursed the city for the money that was not used for this year's festival. So I feel confident that we have an agreement and we can move forward.
So,
Okay,
Mr. Alonso, are you saying that the River Cities Festival Committee is free and clear of any arrears to the city?
As of right now, yes.
Thank you, sir.
So how much is the reimbursement to the city?
They reimbursed the city $4,150 because they had expenses for the 2020 festival of $9,850. So the difference with that is $4,150, and they provided a check to the city last week.
Okay,
Well-
and then we're still gonna go over and make sure that all the $9,000 was properly spent for the 2020 River Cities.
Yeah, they provided canceled checks for the expenses, Mayor.
Okay, all right.
Mayor, I would
So,
like to get an idea of what sort of the expenses were. Can you give us a summary, William, just in general, what expenses?
Yes, it involved overtime or pay for staff. It involved promotions for the 2020 car and Jeep show, festival accounting, and electrical services.
What are the electrical services?
They
To retain electricians?
To retain electricians, I guess, to work over the plans of how they were going to do the electrical.
Okay.
So I just want to say to the people in the River Cities Festival and the River Cities Gazette that my intentions were to protect the city's money. My intentions weren't, as was written in some of the things about going after it, so to speak. I wasn't going after it. The situation was when I was talking to people, feeding the people in the city about where the money was coming from. I said it was coming from the city council's budget. And I said we had extra money because the money from River Cities wasn't spent. And then a day later, I found out that we give them the money in January for the River Cities. My intention was to feed Miami Springs with any monies that we had within the revenue stream of the city council, and that was my idea. The fact remains is that I didn't know we give them the money on the 12th, and I think the next council or the next budget, we have to consider whether to just go ahead and carte blanche give the River Cities Festival $14,000 without having any kind of restrictions on it. So I appreciate the River Cities Festival and the people involved for coming to the 26th meeting, which they weren't going to do at first, but they came through, and I'll go ahead and accept this until, with one caveat, that we make sure that the $9,000 has the receipts and everything that we need to know about. So I guess, Heidi, do I need a vote on this?
I don't see why.
No, Mayor,
I'm
I don't
asking
think
Heidi.
we do. I think the manager has direction.
Okay, all right. We thank everybody for the situation. All right, we're going to go to 11E. The what is it called? The Coronavirus Department updates. Do we need any updates today?
That would be from the manager, right?
Yes, he's
Yes,
muted.
let me, two things I wanted to discuss with you. We are planning to open City Hall to the public on Monday, June 1st, with certain restrictions as to facial masks, wearing facial masks when they go into the facility, maintaining social distance. We'll have all that posted on the door. And we're gonna have hand sanitizing stations at the entrance. So we're planning to open up June 1st. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you, and Omar, if you're available, there's talk that the county this week will probably issue some orders opening up summer camps and children's program activities, youth program activities. There's also talk that they want to open back up municipal pools. So we're waiting on the orders to see what the restrictions is. As far as summer camps for the kids, Omar and I have been discussing this over the past week or two, and Omar is very involved with the groups over there at the county. And we feel that some of the restrictions that are going to be placed on us will make it very difficult for us to hold a summer program. So I'll let Omar fill you in on that. And just to let you know that that's coming this week from the county, and we may not be able to follow some of the recommendations from the county as far as summer camps opening up. Omar?
Mayor, council members, how much time do we have? We could be here for hours. The reality is that the guidelines that the CDC, the state has mandated as far as a draft is concerned.
Kindergarten, right? Yeah, I heard. Somebody just sent me a picture of it.
The guidelines are extremely intense, to say the least. Obviously, because of the COVID-19, the coronavirus, you know, the guidelines have to be like that because we're talking about our children using our facility and things like that. But one of the main components is right now, our summer camp has roughly an attendance of between 150 to 185 participants. The percents that they're giving us as far as how many people can attend the camp for occupancy, right now we would take about 45 kids is the most we could take. We can maybe stretch it to 54, but then we run into issues with space capacity within the facility. There's many challenges. An enormous amount of staff has to be in place. You have to have like bathroom attendants. You got to have janitorial services, cleaning up areas all the time. No field trips. Obviously, staff has to wear gloves, mask. They have to wear facial shields. Some of them have to wear face shields.
Omar, if I might speak, does this make any sense to do this based on what you're saying?
Well, that's a great question, and that's what me and Caitlin honestly are trying to figure out. Obviously, with the guidelines they've provided us, it makes it extremely difficult. But at the end of the day, we're trying to see if we could make it happen because we want to provide a service back to our residents that have to go back to work. But that's a great question. Councilman. We're looking at everything from every angle possible to see if we can make it happen. I mean, that's our job. Our job is to provide a service to our residents in a safe way. But at the same time, it has to be either cost effective, or can we do it where we don't put the city in a position where we're up for a liability? The other issue we have is that obviously City Hall has been moved to the community center. One of the first things in the document is that they don't want anybody from the public. Nobody is allowed inside what would be the community center if we're hosting a camp. So that puts us in a tough predicament, because if we're open to the public and there's people walking in to pay for permits or coming to see the manager for meetings or any of this stuff, we're already in violation. So it's very tricky. So there's a couple of things in there that kind of set us up for failure, but we're hoping that maybe this document could be revised and they can maybe ease up a little bit on the guidelines, and maybe we can have a camp. But the way it's written right now, it'll be extremely difficult, very difficult.
So Omar, you're hopeful. You're hopeful that the CDC guidelines going forward will open it up a little, where you can make it make more sense, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Well, let me tell you something. I was in South Carolina for the 3 weeks here, 3 days. Went up and saw my new grandson. And in South Carolina, in Georgia, if I could tell you that 1 out of 10 people were wearing masks, I could tell you they were doing things that down here, they think that it's obsolete to go ahead and do. So I don't know what the situation is, but I would ask Omar and city manager to do the best they can in the guidelines to try to give some of these young people and families the hope that we can open up. And, you know, we can be constructive in trying to do this, or we could just say no, like we seem like we always do. So I'll give Omar, the guy who is going to run it, to go ahead and try to get it done. God damn, I almost got struck by lightning. God dang.
No, it's yeah, same.
It hit right behind. It hit right here on Redbird.
Yeah, Billy, right here on Ibis as well, right here.
The smoke's right behind me. I'm gonna go. Wait, I gotta go in my bunker. I'll be in the bunker. I'll be right back.
Okay, go hide.
Holy moly.
Go hide.
Wow.
Omar, if at all possible, the other part of this is that a lot of families are really depending on, you know, childcare on the summer camp. Kids, you know, it's their summer and
great.
And so if there's some way that we can make this work, got my fingers crossed that the CDC guidelines will make it more, you know, possible. Open up the possibility for us to have a summer camp.
Great,
no,
Councilman.
absolutely. No, we've gotten a lot of phone calls. We've actually done a survey. We've surveyed our parents from last year. A lot of them are willing to come back. I thought it was going to be a lot less, but no, a lot of them, about 60% are open. Obviously, depending on what the guidelines are and things like that, but they're interested in camp because it's a need. It has to be done. Now, in some of the boards I'm sitting on, there are a lot of people who also feel they won't be able to host a camp. I know already 3 or 4 cities that have said, no way, they're not doing it. They don't want the liability. They don't think they have enough of the equipment. They can't find the hand sanitizer that's requested. I mean, it's basically to a point where each counselor that's watching kids has to have 4 pairs of gloves per day.
Thanks.
So every 2 hours, they have to switch gloves. So you're looking at 4 pairs of gloves, 20-something staff members. You got to have like thousands of gloves, masks. They got to change masks every 2 hours. Like it's become extremely tedious. Like you said, Councilman, we want to do it as much as we can. Me and William have sat there. Tammy, we've sat there and we're trying to find ways, but we just want to make sure you guys understand that this is something that we're going to try as hard as possible, but we might not be able to make it happen.
I totally understand what you're saying, Omar, and we'll be waiting to hear from you.
And I just wanted to mention, Omar, that and I know you didn't mention this, but I'm certain you've thought about this, that one of the issues with the summer camps and all is that should a child test positive in the middle of the camp, then, it has to be closed, or will probably
Correct.
have to be closed because of that. So there's a whole bunch of other, not just the preparation, but what happens in the meantime. Again,
Correct.
I know parents are counting on it, hoping for it, and the kids are too. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that we can make it happen, but I understand the complications.
I got a question for the attorney.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, why do I continue hearing the liability of the city if they open up? Why is it a liability when, frankly, you don't know where the virus came from in the first place? Because an individual brings it in, now the city is liable. I mean, why is it that everything's a liability when you don't know where this virus comes from?
I think that to the extent that there would be any liability, the city would be protected due to sovereign immunity. And what Omar and other parks directors throughout the county have been working on, and throughout the country, frankly, is our waivers. So at the beginning of each rec season and summer camp season, the city obtains a waiver and a release of liability from the participants through their parents or their guardians. So we have modified that waiver so that it would cover any potential liability from COVID. But that's basically where, our city and just throughout the country, cities are all grappling with this.
Okay. All right. Now, this waiver that you're talking about, is this waiver going to will it hold up in court?
That's what we hope.
What court? State court? Federal court? What? What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter.
It does so matter.
What court? Well, I'm asking the question, not you. I'm not asking you. I'm asking the attorney. Will this waiver have any power?
That's certainly our goal, Mayor.
Yeah, but that's not a goal. A goal is something. I'm talking about the absolute.
I can't tell you how a court will rule, Mayor.
That's committing, actually.
It's a release. We've used this release for many years in many cities, and we've successfully used it in court. How a court will assess whether it's applicable to COVID, the way we've drafted it, we certainly feel that it protects the city, but I can't tell you that a court would agree with us. We would certainly make the arguments that they should.
Okay.
I think, Mayor, the one thing we've been talking with in Parks and Recreation is not so much. Heidi has provided a really, really good waiver that I would assume would cover us. It's covered all the angles. I think what we're discussing internally is more like, let's say, for example, we have a parent that's upset because his or her daughter was, put in timeout because they were behaving bad, just a scenario. And now this parent gets upset and they point us out because one of the counselors doesn't have his or her gloves on, or they don't have the mask on at that particular time. So the guidelines are so tough that a lot of cities are saying we're not willing to put ourselves out there and expose where we could potentially be exposed. Not if a kid got COVID, just that they're exposed by not following the guidelines, that they could be potentially held liable for that. It's more or less the angle that the parks professionals are kind of taking with that.
I got you. I'm just it's a discussion. It's something new for all of us.
Correct.
It's a discussion that we got to think about. It's all new for all of us. But the thing that gets me is I hope that the United States Congress and Senate would go ahead and waive the fact that somebody can say that they got COVID-19 at any different facility and be able to give a lawsuit or they'd get money from it. That's my point. My point is that nobody knows where this comes from, and to go ahead and be smart enough to think that it came from our city or from our little for the kids and everything, that that's where it came from is kind of like it's not very good to go ahead and understand that and to give people this opportunity to get money from where money shouldn't be coming from. That was my only question. I think that Heidi answered my question pretty good, but we'll see what happens. But we got it, in my opinion. I think that I'm maybe not with all of you all on this council. You know, I saw what I saw in Carolina and in Georgia. I saw what they're doing. They're going forward with life. And I think that somehow we got to start going forward with life. We can't just stay in our homes like groundhogs.
Mayor,
anything else on the COVID-19?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would agree with what you just said, but I would think that we should be a little more suggestive relative to the density and population versus Georgia and South Carolina, sir.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Let me say something here. The fact remains is that they opened up things and a lot of people didn't go to them because people have to have confidence in what you're doing to go to the establishment or the city functions. There's people that are in this country and people I see that are cautious for what they're going to do and they're going to do it right. You always have the outlier that doesn't do the right thing. And we can't go by the outlier. We got to go by the majority of the people in this country are going to abide by the rules that are set. And I think that's pretty much stated. But my point is that if we continue,
it is, sir. It is stated.
Yeah.
You're right. My daughter and I went to lunch today in Miami Springs, and we provide.
Did you really?
No, and we complied with the masks and everything until we sat down. We had our lunch, and we did the deal.
Right.
But people are not. A lot of people, Bill, are not willing to do that, and that's a problem.
Well, you know why? No,
I help me with that, will you?
No, this is another conversation. We're talking about our city and council.
Of course we are.
This is something this is a personal conversation.
Well, you were the one that brought up Georgia and South Carolina, not me.
Because when I talked to these people, they were even laughing at Holly and Grace when they went to the bathroom with their mask and their gloves on. They were laughing at them. And like Holly said, we're doing the preventive measures of what we're told to do. But the bottom line is there's not everybody agrees with what is going on, is what you see on national TV or what your thoughts are or what my thoughts are or what so-and-so thoughts are.
Well,
a lot of people are some people are so disingenuous of all the information that's come out in this situation that they don't believe it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just stating the fact of what I saw. And
I think Gracie and Holly did the right thing. And never mind these people. I put my gloves on to put gas in. We did what the protocol was stated. But what I'm trying to say to you is that that's not the opinion of everybody in this country. No, it's not.
You understand what I'm saying? It's a different animal how them people are there than how we think or what we're told. And when I I'm lucky enough that I can go up and talk to people, not like I used to be. And I went up and talked to them, and they said there's so much disinformation about the situation that they're ready to go on to move on. They're tired of staying in their home and sitting there with their 4 kids or 2 kids. They're just tired of it, and they're willing to go out and do things. And I think that we can find.
No, I know. I know.
I hear kids.
Mayor,
I hear kids somewhere.
Mayor, I know.
He's breaking up.
Councilman Best, we're getting, I think we need to give your internet a chance to reconnect.
Yeah, he sounds like he sounds.
But you know,
Councilman Best, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you.
You gotta do it right for the majority of the people. The people that are around you, not just what you want to do. It's, you know what I mean?
He sounds like Peter Frampton. Okay, anything else on the COVID situation? Anybody there?
Let's see. I know that the city manager is talking to the county. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yes, Mayor. Before we get to the final
I-
item,
no.
I just want to give you an update. I've been on the phone with the county and with Jennifer Moon, who's a local resident, and she's been keeping me abreast of, and as you notice, Tom Nash has left us. He's out and about because we have a couple of canals that are overflowing, have breached. Ludlam Canal over by Virginia Gardens and the Hammond and Payne Canal have breached. So far, the canals on the east side seem to be flowing, so they're on the phone with South Florida Water Management to get them to start opening up downstream so that they can get some of this water out of the way. So just wanted to let you know that we're on top of it, and it's just a matter of waiting for this rain to stop and give the drainage system an opportunity to drain this stuff out. In case you get called.
Okay, so Heidi, is that the city's responsibility? Are we liable for that?
For the weather, you mean, for the rain?
Yeah. Are we liable that we're, like in my backyard, the water's full, that's over the pool? I mean, can I sue Miami Springs for that?
Mayor, I won't personally say who you can sue.
See, that's what's wrong with this country. See, everybody has a liability or something, and this is a natural situation. What's going on? But this is this happened a couple of years when I was mayor the first time. They forgot to pump all the water out of the place, and they flooded our golf course. And now you're in a situation now that they didn't release the water like they were supposed to do again. And now this is why you have this backup. And I know this for a fact because the guy who was running at the time told me that they didn't run enough water out. I don't remember what year it was or anything like that. But now you're in the same situation. I've been here for 62 years. I never had the Ludlam Canal or anything breached like this. Anyway, all right. Anything else with COVID-19?
No, Mayor.
Are we done with it?
That's it.
You're not done with it? You're done?
Yes.
William,
Yes.
you done?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we go to update for the bed tax money, which we might need beds in the third floor with this flooding, but bed tax money.
This
was put on by Councilwoman. This was put on by
Maria Mitchell, correct.
Maria Mitchell. Maria Mitchell.
Okay. I just wanted to provide an update for the record on the bed tax issue, which I know the council.
What happened? What do you?
Okay.
What happened?
I wanted
I
to
don't hear
provide
anybody.
an update on the bed tax, where we stand with this past year with the bed tax issue, which is the tourist development tax. And as the council knows, and we've talked about this with residents, is that continually, since I've been on the council, one of the most common complaints that I hear is the lack of police presence. They don't see police like they used to in Miami Springs, and where are police? And I know Chief Guzman and his staff are doing miracles to, cover all of our city with all the incidents we have. But the reality is, and Chief Guzman has pulled reports.
But
go ahead, Councilwoman.
Okay. But Chief Guzman has pulled reports, and 40% of our police time is spent responding to incidents at the hotels, at our hotels. That's a huge drain on our police time. And these hotels are in our property, so it's our responsibility to respond to them, just like we would anywhere else. However, the money that gets collected from the bed taxes from these hotels goes to the county to promote tourism to Miami-Dade County. And the tourism that they promote is for activities, American Airlines Arena, Miami Beach, and other things. We get very little activity from the tourists that stay in the hotels in Miami Springs, because they're either coming in and out of the airport, or there's other places that, are more of a priority on their list, and that's understandable. The bed tax issue has been that we have, I feel, and I know Councilman Best and Councilman Petrolanda have really helped work on this too, is that we're entitled
What
to
about
our.
Mayor Bain? What about Mayor Bain? What about Mayor Bain?
Yes, Councilman Petrolanda and Councilman Best. What I wanted to clarify.
What about Mayor Bain?
And Mayor Bain and Councilwoman Zapata. Councilman
Be-
Petrolanda.
Mayor Bain before you even got on council.
Councilman Petrolanda and Councilman Best have been to Tallahassee this year to talk with our legislators. I've been there. And what I wanted to say is that we got.
But I've been talking to him. I've been talking to him for 12 years.
Thank you, Mayor. What I'd like to say is that.
I mean, can't you go ahead and express the facts as they are? I've been doing this for 18 years on this council, and I've been pushing this for 12 years, maybe 15. I can't remember when.
Thank you,
I've
Mayor.
been trying to do this for years and years. I mean, you want to give credit to people? Give credit. Just tell the truth, Maria.
I won't even justify that. I won't even justify that comment. And what I'd like to mention at this meeting is an update on the bed tax issue, that this past year, for the first time, we got really, really far thanks to Representative Brian Avila and our Senator Manny Diaz, who actually put it as a House bill, Senate bill and a House bill. And the Senate and House bill was voted on. And I'm going to I asked our lobbyists to prepare a summary of what happened, because I think it's important for all of us to keep that in mind. But the bill filed on February 20th, 2020, originally included language that amended the state's bed tax. And the version of the bill included bed tax amendment language was passed by the House of Representatives on March 6th. Miami Springs and Virginia Gardens, unfortunately, were the only two municipalities actively advocating in favor of the proposed amendment to the bed tax. The other municipalities in Miami-Dade County did not actively engage their senators and representatives in this issue. And it's understandable why they would. It's not a big issue for them. This is a really big issue. We're the ones, of all the municipalities in Dade County, we're the ones that are adversely affected in a huge way by the lack of sharing of the bed tax money, because we're funding the safety, the public safety through our police of all these hotels and not getting reimbursed for that. That goes for the tourism for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. So the lobbying for Miami Springs and Virginia Gardens, even though we went very, very far in the Senate and the House, unfortunately, we were blitzed at the last few weeks by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Miami Association
I get text messages.
Hotels that sent in for every single week for the last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks of session were in Tallahassee, saying why the hazards of passing this bed tax bill, that it would decrease the ability to promote tourism to Miami-Dade County, and saying that the money would go to other entities. Other entities are us, the cities, that rightfully should have a fair share of this tax base. So I wanted to thank Representative Brian. I wanted to thank Councilman Best and Councilman Petrolanda for taking up the fight in Tallahassee, and to thank Representative Brian Avila and Senator Manny Diaz for their efforts. The Senate passed the revised version of the tax bill, and it was passed by the amendment of the House Bill 797, passed the Senate Appropriations Committee unanimously. And on the very last day of the session, that's where we lost it. It was the one thing that argued, and I wanted to just mention this, Representative Avila and Senator Diaz worked on behalf of Miami Springs and Virginia Gardens in advocating for the issue past midnight on the last day of the 60-day legislative session. It's the furthest we've ever gotten with this. Ultimately, they decided not to pass it because they didn't want to hold up all the other state appropriations, and that was where it was headed. everything was going to be held up. So they left the bed tax language off the bill. But in saying all this, I guess what I'd like to say is that we've gotten so far this time. And Mayor, I understand that you've been working for it for a long time. I think it's been a big issue for a long time. I would like to see and perhaps ask Heidi, where do we go from here? Because we can't get it in this next legislative session now. And we're going to be blitzed each time by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Hotel Association, who are using our tax. The irony is that they're using the tax money that they collect from our hotels to lobby against us and to lobby our congressman and Senator Anitara Flores and another senator was the ones that killed it at the last minute. So what can we do as a city to get reimbursed for this?
After your big scenario there, the bottom line is, if they would have went with my proposal to let the county have their money and to allow Miami Springs to go on top of that, the 2%, 3%, whatever it may be, if Brian and Manny Diaz and our lobbyists would have proposed that we weren't going to take any money away from the county, my proposal in person to Brian and to the commissioner in a meeting with city manager, my proposal was not to take anything away from the county. My proposal was to let the county have their 6 or whatever the percentage it is, and to allow us to go ahead and have our own tax on the hotels of our own to come on top of that.
Yeah,
So
never happened though.
But it was all misconstrued. And when they did, it's a simple thing. If they would allow me to go ahead and propose what I wanted to propose and not go into this water situation or different things that they proposed, I believe it would have passed. But that's the situation, Councilwoman Mitchell. The fact is that I didn't have to go to Tallahassee to go ahead and work on this project. I worked on this with Brian, Commissioner Sosa. The manager was there in the same office as me. If they would allow us to go ahead and put the bed tax on top of whatever they made, because to the hotels in Miami Springs, if we go ahead and add a little bit over on top, all they're going to do is, if there's a room that's rented for $150 a month, they're going to rent it for $153 or $154. It doesn't make any difference. But if
Mayor,
everybody makes
the county did not oppose
wait a minute. I let you talk. I let you talk all that time. I never interrupt you. Allow me to talk. So the bottom line is that if they would have listened to me and make everything simple, everybody makes everything complicated. If they had made it simple that Miami Springs or any other municipality in Dade County wanted to get revenue from what's going on in the bed tax money and allow them to have their own tax, I believe it would have went through. Then you wouldn't have had these other council people or commissioners everything interrupted because Bill Tallman has a lot of pull, evidently, a lot more than what we thought, and he got a hold of somebody and he did what he did. The bottom line is, it's not fair. And I've been trying to contact the city. I've been trying to contact the county mayor to help us out with the situation on the downtown in Miami Springs, with the situation they put with about having one-day stays and everything. You would think he'd call me back? He never called me back. So I want Miss Mitchell to know that just because you're not where you are over there, or where Councilman Best is over here, or so-and-so is over there are things working, whether you like to know it or not.
But
I'm aware of the meeting that you had.
I think we know it, sir.
Evidently, it didn't go any further, but I do want to state, Mayor, that the county did not oppose this. The county did not oppose it. The opposition was from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. The county didn't even add the resolution. There was no participation from the League of Cities in this. There's no participation from any mayors. Yeah, but come on, they didn't fight for it. There was no participation from other mayors. There was no participation from other mayors that contacted me to do it, and I talked to them personally.
Come on, come
No,
on.
no, you're
Let's
right.
let-
You're,
you know,
no, you're right
we're
about
not-
that.
we're not
You're right
big-
about,
we're not
you're
big
right
gov-
about
we're
the
not
other
big-
mayors.
we're not big-
You are right about the other
We're
mayors.
not big. We're not big government here. Come on, let's take it as is. Let's take it as
Well,
it
we
is.
still,
Come on.
I know, but I think we still have to try though. I mean, I don't know where this is
It's
going
like
with
saying that.
what's going on right now with how we're gonna have to adjudicate budgets going forward this summer. It's gonna be tough.
And my question
Come on.
was, thank you, Councilman Best, and my question was for Heidi as what other measures, because the county didn't oppose this. It was not the county opposing it. It was the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Miami Hotel Association blitzing Senator Anitara Flores and another senator and another congressman at the last minute, and saying and making just lies about us, saying this money's going to go to entities. That was the public publicity, instead of saying to municipalities that deserve it, scaring people about where that money was going to go to. And obviously they're using our money. That's the sad part, like I said, the irony, to do this against us. But my question is this, the county did not oppose this, and it went really, really far. We got really close. I don't want the conversation to die. And I guess my question is, for a future meeting, Heidi, what can we do what other avenues can we bill the county for these services? Because we can't continue to hear from our residents that they don't see the police. We've had several incidents recently where people have been calling me very concerned about some crime in Miami Springs, and it's likely that crime may increase all over, not just in Miami Springs, but all over after the pandemic and the economic situation. So what other avenues, or how can we augment this so that we can continue this? We've gotten attention to it. We need to get this money. This is our fair share. We need our fair share for this to provide public services to these hotels.
Councilwoman, this is Dan. I'll jump in, and since I was monitoring this conversation, you're right. Representative Ayavela did a yeoman's job in carrying this as far as he possibly did. And I would think that whether it was public or private, there were a number of entities working against this. I can tell you this is not a conversation that's just limited to Miami-Dade. There are other places that have tried to develop alternative funding mechanisms associated with the bed tax, kind of like the bed tax. I think it was Hillsborough County tried to develop a related surtax for security in light of the fact that they had limited hotel revenue, and unfortunately that was said to be preempted to the state. So insofar as trying to monetize hotel taxes or some kind of derivative from the hotels, we're going to be very limited in being able to do anything like that. To the mayor's point, generating additional revenue with our own would only be allowed if Tallahassee would have allowed us. I'm going to disagree with the mayor respectfully in saying that option was not a viable option through the House of Representatives. But that being said, we certainly can continue to push our representative to continue making the case next legislative cycle in the hopes that he has more success. We can also make our case to the county in the hopes that Virginia Gardens, Miami Springs, and those of us around the perimeter of the airport that bear the burden of carrying hotels as part of our community somehow should get some kind of relief. But insofar as finding a dedicated revenue stream that's for municipalities, it's not available at this moment.
Dan, thank you for answering that. And could you tell me, is there, in maybe not finding a revenue stream, but how can we bill the county for these services?
I don't know that there is an express mechanism by which to be able to bill the county.
Or the airport, perhaps the airport?
Not even, because it's not, I mean, mind you, our hotel traffic, as maybe our chamber can tell you, or we've known over the years, is comprised of as many flyovers, but as well as people that are training in our flight simulators in our area, as well as cruise ship passengers. So it's a very diverse guest community that stays within our community. We just happen to be in the airport perimeter. I would venture to guess that Miami maybe has some as well, but just Miami gets a different slice of the pie. Unfortunately, it's going to take a legislative solution because it's a legislative problem.
Well, I'll tell you what you need. You need a fine lobbyist with connections to go up there and tell them what the cities of the municipalities of the Miami-Dade County need to help out with the criminal element that's going on in them hotels. And then you need to go ahead and tell them that your police department is expending how many different situations instead of taking care of the residents. You need to have somebody to go ahead and do that. And right now, we don't have the power that Bill Talbert has to go ahead and express that. It comes down to who has the power to go ahead and manipulate the people that make the decisions up there in Tallahassee. Brian Aguilar and Manny did the best that they could, but the bottom line is their power is somewhere else. That's what you need. And I'm speaking from a lot of experience, and that's what you need. You need somebody to go up there and uphold the thing that is wholesome to a community, that's wholesome to the fact that the community needs help with this situation. And right now, we don't have that. And
Mayor,
that's the bottom line.
Well, I want to say that
I don't know.
Representative
Wait a
Avila
minute.
was
Let me
chair
finish.
of the Ways
You know,
and
all
Means
you guys say, wait a minute. I've let you guys talk all this time. Now I get a chance to talk and everybody interrupts me. And I'm the mayor. I'm tired of you people interrupting me. The bottom line is, I don't know what Dan's talking about. He just takes exception to what I'm saying. Bottom line is not what's presented to the county and to the people that were at the meeting with the city manager and myself, with Rebecca and Bill Talbert and everything like that. That was not what I proposed to go to the session in the state representatives. It's not. The bottom line is my proposal was not to take anything from the county or Bill Talbot, but to go ahead and aggressively allow the municipalities in Miami-Dade County to have a surplus bed tax on top of theirs. And it never happened that way. And that's the bottom line. If it would have been proposed that way, in my mind, the county wouldn't have fought it. Nobody would have fought it. Bill Talbert wouldn't have fought it, and he would have been okay. So he can make his $350,000 or $400,000 salary, and the subordinates make $350,000 salary. It wouldn't have bothered their salary. You know, you people are talking like as if it's not a situation where this is big money to these people. It isn't about our community, about helping out the citizens of Miami Springs. It's a big conglomerate of people that are trying to keep their money in their pocket. Bill Talbert tells me, yeah, I went to China for 19 days. I went over there for 19 days. He told me this personally to myself. He goes to China for 19 days. Anybody sitting here tonight talking can go to China for 19 days and afford it? Come on, let's be realistic about this. This is about big money, and nobody wants to give a little bit to the part of Miami Springs that needs help. Miami Springs needs help with police of them hotels, and Miami Springs deserves the help for that, and we're not getting anything for it. So let's not talk this the garbage about what the garbage you guys are talking about, that they all did their good job and everything like that. Nobody did a good job. Nobody, because we got nothing.
You know what, Mayor? I'm not even gonna respond to those comments because I find them just not worth responding. We've gotten as far as, I agree with you that we're a very small community and this is a David and Goliath fight. But I don't agree that we just throw up our hands and say, oh, we've tried it for 18 years and haven't gotten anywhere. I mean, we're due this fair share. And because we're a small community and we're the only one really of all the municipalities in Dade County that are impacted. Because we have more hotels than anywhere else. So, you know, I never said we should. I never said on session.
I never said we shouldn't stop fighting. Never said we should stop fighting. I never said we should stop fighting.
I think
never said that.
If
I
we
never
don't
said
communicate
we shouldn't
with
stop
our
fighting.
senators and legislators and ask for their help with this, you know what? We're insignificant. So my question has been all along is, what is our next step here? What do we go? Because we've gotten a lot of attention so far. Bill Talbot was very concerned about losing this money. And I spoke to him. He was very concerned about what was going to happen. So where
it would hurt his pocket.
We can argue back and
It
forth.
would hurt his pocket.
Where do we go moving forward on this issue? This is an important issue. We can't let it drop. We deserve this. We're asking for something that is extremely, not just reasonable, but we're entitled to it. We're entitled to receive compensation for providing security for those hotels.
Mr. Mayor, this is
You know how
Dan.
you stop, Councilman Mitchell, you know how you stop it? By putting a proposal that is simple. It's simple. The fact you propose a situation that is simple, that the fact remains is let the county have their 6%, whatever the number is, and let us have our 3%. It's a simple proposal that I had. It's simple. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But it's a simple thing. But the bottom line is you need people. You know, Bill Talbot comes in there and tells me, and the manager was there, tells me, well, we gave you $10,000 for the city hall situation. We gave you that monitor and everything like as if he's the. And also he said that we could use policemen from the airport to help us police our hotels, which was false. You know, there's a lot of things that maybe Councilman Mitchell, you don't know the negotiations that were going on.
Actually, I think that is something.
So it is. You know, so you understand what I'm saying? So you don't understand what's going on with these people. But the bottom line is he had enough power to get a person to take this situation, what we were trying to do, to help Miami Springs, to help the residents of the city. He had enough power to persuade enough people to think that we can't do this here in Miami Springs. And I think it's unfair. And I'm all for what your situation is, but I want you to understand that it isn't just one person or two people that are trying to do this. There's many people, but the bottom line is somehow Manny and Brian did the best that they could, but somehow there was somebody was able to sway that they wouldn't vote to go ahead and go through with it.
Yes, and they were able to
That's the
sway.
bottom line.
And basically it was 2 congressmen, the same that we had 2 fighting for us. And it was in the last second. And that's the point that I want to get across. This was in the very last second of the session. This was the last issue discussed for a very, very long time. And finally, to reach an agreement, they pulled it. So what I'm trying to get across.
But would you agree? Would you agree?
To say that,
would you agree? Would you agree that if it was a proposal that wouldn't take any money away from the county, would you agree with this? If there was a proposal that was going to take any money from the county, and I'm not just talking about Miami Springs, anybody that has hotels, anybody, do you agree that maybe if it was proposed a different way, that we were only going ahead and add a bed tax money on top for every municipality, that maybe it might went through, because then Bill wouldn't have lost any money, or his subordinates wouldn't have lost any money? Do you agree that maybe that might have been the way to go? See, what I'm thinking is that if it was proposed the way I wanted to do it, of course, you know, I'm dealing with people that are above me and big government and whatever you want to call it. I'm a simpleton. I'm a person that looks at I'm a pragmaticist. Is that the way you say it? And I'm looking at it as just, you know, I'm just looking at it as a situation where something could come out, something that could make a solution. I'm not looking at to make enemies or anything. I'm looking at it as a solution to go ahead and say, how can you get it done? And it isn't that way. I'm a pragmatic person. Let's see if we can make a situation that works. And it didn't work. It didn't work this time. Maybe we learn from our lessons and it'll work the next time.
Mayor, you discussed those issues, your idea, and I know that's been discussed for years of letting us add a surcharge. The county, for some reason, does not want municipalities to be able to add an extra charge. So that's just been there. It was, unfortunately, it was brought up and it was changed. It's been changed each time. The county doesn't want to allow municipalities to
No,
go through.
My proposal had never been proposed. My proposal has never been proposed. A simple proposal. You keep your percentage, county. We want a percentage on top. My proposal has never been strictly proposed.
Well, we
So
can
you
only go by
understand that.
what our senator and representatives decide to propose, and things change along the way. I agree with you totally that if we could add money, a surcharge to our hotels and collect that, I'm all for that. I'm not arguing how it gets done. And obviously we have no control over what the legislature decides to pass as a House bill. It gets changed along the way over and over. But my point again is that we got really far. We got this close in the very last session. We were the last issue discussed ad infinitum, and they pulled it just not to hold up all the other appropriations. So I think, we got to continue the fight, and we got to maybe figure out another means. I believe that asking the airport to help fund some of this is a reasonable alternative. And as much noise as we make about this issue, somebody, and it won't be us because they're not going to let us make come up with a solution, but somebody will come up with a solution. And Representative Avila and Senator Diaz did a great job up to the last minute, arguing for 60 minutes on this. So I don't want to at all disparage their efforts and the efforts of our lobbyists and, everyone
That's a political statement. But anyway, all right, we're done with that. I think we go on to city attorney. Anything from you?
Mayor, we're actually on item 12B, which was added to the agenda this afternoon.
We have somebody. We have somebody leaving us. Go ahead.
We do, and I'll let that somebody, with your permission, Mayor, as chair of the meeting, let her make some remarks to the council, and then I can get into the legal aspect of what needs to get done.
Yes, so.
You got it.
Thank you. So I wanted to announce today to all of you that tonight is my last meeting on the council. I have tendered my resignation, which is effective this Friday. As you all know, I am running for the school board, and I have a very demanding job with FIU, plus my campaign that I'm working on very, very hard right now. And it's going to get even more hectic these next 3 months. So in all fairness to the city, because I take this obligation on the council very seriously, and I know that I cannot devote the time necessary to focus like I need to on the issues presented here, I have decided that I'm going to resign now. And I'm not going to miss any of these meetings, and especially after today, I'm never going to miss a meeting. But just wanted you all to know that this is not a decision that I take lightly. I have enjoyed serving on this council with all of you. I want to thank the city for the professionalism with which they have supported me, and definitely the residents who all had the faith to vote me into council. I will still remain a very active resident. Don't think I'm not going to be around, but I need to tend to what I have embarked upon right now. And so I'm saying goodbye tonight as a council vice mayor, whatever my title is today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mara. Gonna miss you.
So thank you, Vice Mayor. As all of you know, I circulated a memo to you at the end of last month because we expected that there could be a couple of vacancies at least one, potentially two vacancies on our council due to qualifying in order to run for the school board. That memo was based on the assumption that a resignation would be in the future. However, it's entirely okay that a resignation be effective, as Vice Mayor Zapata did over the weekend, and as she announced now. So the memo is still valid. It provides you with guidance. However, there are a few things that have changed. What hasn't changed are the decisions that you will have to make as the remaining members of the council. And those are a couple of things. One is a vacancy has now been created effective as of this Friday. And so you'll need to fill that vacancy, and the charter provides the process for doing so. That's step number one. Step number two, which is actually the one that we will recommend you take up first, is calling a special election and setting qualifying dates. Because of the time remaining in Vice Mayor Zapata's unexpired term, the charter calls that the council has to call a special election because of where we are in the calendar year and how much time is left. So I can get into the details of it, but what we are recommending is that we have a special call meeting this Thursday to call the special election and set the qualifying dates. And if you'll indulge me, I'll share my screen with you so that you can follow along with the timeline that we are proposing. And so that way the public and you can all follow through. So hopefully you're able to see my screen right now.
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Councilman Best.
I can't.
Sorry,
I
Mayor. If you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to see this.
I can see it, Heidi.
I don't even know what U2 is. So, you know, I don't understand it.
Really, I'm not far behind.
I mean, I can't get into the meeting. I'm talking on my phone. I can't see anybody's face. I don't know how I'm going to go ahead and make a decision here tonight.
Well, fortunately, Mayor, we're not asking you to make any decisions tonight. We purposefully do not want you to make a decision tonight. We've had to, for the most part, we knew that this was a possibility, and so we've worked to get you this timeline. And I'm going to go a little bit out of order and work backwards. So if you see what I'm highlighting August 18th, 2020.
Yep.
August 18th, 2020 is the primary election in Miami-Dade County. And one of the offices that's up for election is school board. So Vice Mayor Zapata will be up for that election if she qualifies. She'll be up for that election on August 18th. What we are proposing in accordance with our charter is that the city council call a special election to fill her vacancy to also be conducted on August 18th. Now you'll see that I had made a note that this would be subject to the Supervisor of Elections approval. This afternoon, we received her approval in order for us to piggyback, so to speak, on the county's primary election. And so this is the earliest date that the city can have an election. For those who may be reviewing the charter and trying to figure this out, why are we conducting the election on, or proposing to conduct the election on August 18th? The reason is the charter requires us to have an election within a date certain. The charter provides for 30 days effectively to do so. Unfortunately, we cannot get an election date within 30 days. So it's impractical. And the earliest date that we can get is August 18th. So in order to coincide as best possible with the charter's requirements and state law, that's why we're proposing August 18th, 2020.
Heidi, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Councilman.
When this happened, when the city attorney ran for the same board, the same seat actually,
yes.
There was an appointment made. What is the difference between then and now?
So you're breaking up a little, and we did do that research. As you'll recall, at the beginning of this process, I said you'd be doing two things. You'll be calling a special election and you'll be making an appointment. So I'm taking up the election issue first so that we can get to the appointment issue, but
Okay, thank you.
I'll go through it and then I'll explain historically what happened in 2012 as you were referencing.
Thank you.
So working backwards, if we call the election for August 18th, 2020, the city council is also required in that resolution calling the election to set the qualifying dates. As you all know, there's qualifying dates for our general election, which takes place on odd numbered years in April. However, when there's a vacancy, as the council, you have the duty to set those qualifying dates. Because of the deadline with the county's Supervisor of Elections office, they require us to provide by June 12th all of the candidates who may appear on the August 18th, 2020 election. And by May 29th, this Friday, we have to provide them with the city's call for a special election. In addition to those requirements, deadlines from the Supervisor of Elections office, in order to comply with state law, we also have to do some noticing of the special election. And so we're proposing that the council adopt a resolution this Thursday, and we can call a special call meeting. It can be a very short, quick meeting, simply to call the special election to fill the vacancy created by Vice Mayor Zapata's resignation and set the qualifying period. The qualifying period that we're proposing would be Tuesday, June 9th to Thursday, June 11th. And that would be a qualifying period for the Miami Springs special election on August 18th to fill the vacancy. Now you'll notice on this timeline, proposed timeline, on June 8th, 2020, that's your next regular council meeting. So we're recommending that the city council make the interim appointments on that date. Now to Councilman Best's question, the reason for that is we will have a vacancy effective this Friday, May 29th, and between May 29th and August 18th, we'll need to fill that vacancy on an interim basis. So the charter provides how you do that. It's simply by a vote, and the persons who you nominate for that interim appointment have to meet the qualifications set forth in the charter, which are effectively that they be a qualified elector of the city, that they're a voter, a registered voter, and that they have resided in the city for at least 6 months. So those provisions are in the charter. In 2012, just to give you some historical context, when a council member created a vacancy by running for school board, similar to the situation now, it was around the same time. And the city council did exactly what you're being asked to do now. The city council adopted a resolution setting a special election, setting qualifying dates, and they made an interim appointment. It appears from, we did some digging, and what we found is that apparently only one person qualified for office. So that person qualified for office, and so there wasn't a need for the special election. So in this case, if whoever is ultimately appointed on an interim basis, if they or some other person qualifies, then we'll have an election on August 18th. If only one person qualifies, they are effectively elected by default, by virtue of being an uncontested election. And so we wouldn't need to have the August 18th, 2020 election. Whoever is appointed, that interim appointment would fill the vacancy until the election results are certified from the August 18th election. And then whoever is elected in August would serve the unexpired term of Vice Mayor Zapata's term. So effectively through April 2021, when we have our general election, and then the next 2-year term begins. So I've talked to you about the resignation, creating the vacancy. I've talked to you about the fact that you'll have to make an appointment and you'll have to adopt a resolution calling for a special election and setting qualifying dates. I want to stress that time is of the essence. We are under very tight deadlines, unfortunately, just because of timing. We're on very tight deadlines with the county in order to get them what they need by this Friday. So if we have to call a special election pursuant to the charter, and so we have to adopt a resolution and get it to the county supervisor of elections by this Friday, May 29th. And then we also have to, by June 12th, provide the county supervisor of elections with the names of those persons who have qualified for the special election. So there is a real urgency in getting this done. And so we are proposing to have a special call meeting this Thursday. If you all are available, we'll notice it for 6 p.m. and Erica can send out that notice. We have begun drafting a resolution setting the election for August 18th and setting the qualifying period. Another question you may have is, well, Heidi, how are we going to qualify and how are we going to do petitions during COVID? How are we supposed to get signatures? So we've accounted for that, and there are procedures for that in the proposed resolution, which we hope you'll consider this Thursday. Those procedures provide for, it mirrors what the state is doing, which effectively allows an image of someone's signature to be collected. And so that our supervisor of elections, our local supervisor, the city clerk, can confirm those signatures and confirm that the petitions are valid. And that would be for the qualifying for the special election. I think I've covered everything, but I'm happy to take any questions you may have either now or later.
I have a question, Heidi.
Yes.
So the person that gets elected in August goes through all the way through April. They have to run again, correct?
The person who's elected in August only serves, yes, until the end of the current term. So they serve through April 2021 when their successor or themselves, if they're reelected and if they choose to run, that is how long they would serve.
Okay, I have another question. Can we waive the signature part of it? Because they have to go out and get signatures and that could be a problem.
So that's what I was just addressing. So
Right.
what the state elections department has done in light of COVID is they've allowed effectively for electronic signatures. So it makes that process something that we can actually do.
But it's a little harder. I mean, unless you can get a hold of the person over the phone or an email, how are you going to get the signature? There's no way of just waiving that, right? I mean,
I think at this point, what we have to do is comply with the charter as much as possible. And our charter requires signatures. So it has a unique requirement. Well, not unique, but it just the requirement that the signatures be in ink or indelible pencil.
Indelible pencil.
Yeah, look that one up.
Right. I love it.
So one of the things that we'd be doing in the resolution is effectively waiving or being a little more lenient with that requirement. So instead of original ink or indelible pencil, we would allow for an image, and we would mirror exactly what the state is doing with respect to all elections that require a petition for qualifying.
Hey, do you have it on mark?
I'm sorry, Councilman Best, I didn't hear you.
How about a mark?
A mark?
An X.
I won't get into the legality
I got you.
of marks,
Gotcha,
but
gotcha.
as long as the signature
I know,
meets
I know.
the signature on the voter registration, the city clerk should be able to validate that signature and make sure that the petition is valid.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I
do.
got
Could I ask you, with the interim appointment, could you explain how that works with the interim appointments? Do each council person nominate someone and then we vote at the June 8th meeting? I'm not sure how that part works.
So that's a great question. The charter is and our code are fairly flexible. Flexible is the word I would use. It really doesn't provide a specific procedure for how this vacancy is, how the appointments are to be made, or nominations rather. So what we've thought about internally, as we've discussed it among staff, is having, if the council wishes, on June 8th, they can make the interim appointment. And in order for the council to be able to review who's being nominated, we would suggest that, and we've put that on this proposed timeline, that by June 3rd, which is the date that the agenda is published for the June 8th meeting, that by that date, the council provide the names of anyone they wish for the council to consider for appointment. And that way we can include those names on the agenda and you can discuss it at the June 8th meeting. But as the only requirements are those that are contained in the charter.
Could you tell me how it happened, or perhaps the mayor can, last time in 2012? Was there just one person agreed to as an interim appointment, or was it voted on at that meeting? I'm still kind of not clear on how. I mean, if each of us have a nominee at the June 8th meeting, then I would think each of us would vote for our nominee, so that would be a stalemate.
I think I was there in 2012, and the person was nominated. There was a second on council. They then proceeded to take a vote, and that person was not selected as the interim appointment.
So that would mean that we would all know ahead of time who
Well,
is
you would
nominated?
know, what we're asking is that you submit the names by June 3rd so we can put them on the agenda. So
Okay.
each one of you would provide one name, we would put it on the agenda, and then you know who the 4 people would be. And then at the meeting, each one of you will bring up the name, get a second, and call for a vote.
And just to add to that, if there's a council member who doesn't want to make a nomination, or they want to rely on what the rest of the council, on the names that are brought up by other members of council, that's fine. But I think in an effort to just give everyone a chance to review in advance of the meeting and consider any potential appointments, that's why we're suggesting that we get those names ahead of time, and that way give each of you an opportunity to review and make your decision.
So Heidi, what you're saying is on June 3rd, members should have submitted names of people potential for that position, so it could be reviewed by other members. Is that correct?
That's what we're proposing.
Okay, thank you.
Just to keep some order to an otherwise, complicated, complex situation.
And just to clarify, for my clarification, the person who is nominated as interim appointment, their commitment will be till August 18th, at least, if they decide to run at that election. But if there's no one running at the election, their appointment will be till April of 2021 automatically. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right, Maria.
Correct.
So they have to be able to make a commitment in reality to till April.
which is what happened in 2012. The interim appointment, when it came down to August, that person was running unopposed, so they automatically stayed until the April election.
Okay.
Right.
I just want to be
That's
sure
right.
we don't have someone that, is thinking it's only till August 18th and then doesn't want to make, it can't for some reason, commitment to continue. Should that happen again?
And frankly, they would have to qualify during our qualifying period for the August 18th election. So even if that nominee, I don't know why they wouldn't, but perhaps they just want to serve for a very short period of time.
2 weeks.
They can serve and then not choose to qualify for the August election. That is an option.
I got a question.
Yes, Mayor.
I got a question. If in fact nobody wants to do anything till August, can we just stand as 4?
So our charter is silent on when the appointment needs to be made. I think that it's really up to the council on when they wish to, when the remaining members wish to make an appointment. I think the charter requires you to make an appointment. So I don't think you have an option in that regard. It does say that you shall make an appointment. Had this happened at a different point in time, you would have still had to make an appointment, but you could have deferred the election. Had this happened in late November / December, you could have had the option to defer the election until your April 2021 general election. But even then, you would have had to fill the vacancy by an appointment. So you do have to fill the vacancy. When you do it is unclear in the charter.
Okay, my point being that if nobody wants to come up and be a council member, what happens then?
I think that we can delay the June 8th. If there's no one, we can certainly wait and either wait until the second meeting in June to fill the vacancy, or call a special call meeting if you feel the desire to do so. But we do need to fill that vacancy.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
My point coming to this is that we need to have a council meeting that we're all together in a room.
They were going to confirm something.
Yeah, we need to have the next meeting. We need to have together, whether it's 6 feet or whatever it takes to do it. We need to be at a meeting where we're all together, face to face, and understand what we got to do.
So, Mayor, if I can
I ask a question?
Yeah, but this
Mayor?
situation with doing this virtual or whatever, I'm on the phone today. I can't even see you people. In my opinion, to make this kind of decision, we got to be on the same dais and do it the right way. And I don't have any, if I have to wear a mask or gloves or whatever, we got to make a decision that we got to be on council in the community center and make this decision. Whoever wants to volunteer or wants to go ahead and commit to be part of the city council.
Well, Mayor, I couldn't agree with you more. And I would say that I'm surprised tonight that we didn't discuss, and maybe we will still, that for our next meeting, we should be live. We haven't discussed that.
Oh, I agree with you there.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, but we haven't discussed it.
But we can't go again. We got to abide by the rules of the county. We got to abide by the state and everything. But we got to get to work here. And the bottom line is, I miss you people to go ahead and see your faces when I talk to you. And I think that the next meeting's gotta be, it can't be virtual. To make this kind of decision and to go ahead and vote on something like this, it has to be where we're in touch with each other.
Mayor, I think
You see the
I think
emotion-
what the assistant attorney said was that we have to meet on May 28th. Did I not hear that correctly? And that
Well,
would be
we're-
Zoom, or unless live, I don't know.
What we're proposing, Councilman Best and Mayor, is a special call meeting on Thursday, simply to adopt. It would be one item on the agenda, just
Right.
to adopt the resolution to set the special election date and set the qualifying period. We are not suggesting that
Right.
you make the appointment this Thursday.
No, right. No, I know
So
that.
that's all that meeting would be. If, you know, that can
What
be
day
done
is
via
Thursday?
Zoom
What
or it
day-
can be done in person, but
May
what day is
28th,
Thursday?
Bill.
What day-
May 28th,
May
sir.
28th. But what is the proposal of
o'clock.
the, what is the proposal of the county or the state of whether we can meet together? By when?
I don't think, Heidi, I don't think there's any prohibition out there from physical meetings, right?
there's not a prohibition. It's just that we are allowed to obtain quorum and conduct virtual meetings. So to the extent that you feel that you want to have the meeting in person, you can. If there are
Okay.
members of the council who don't wish to do that.
I propose that this Thursday meeting should be a meeting at 7 o'clock with all of us there, sitting there with our council, with our people, and we do the meeting in person.
I agree with the mayor.
And
I
that's my
agree with the mayor.
proposal.
I agree with the mayor.
Do I have other people that agree with me?
You have me, sir.
I'm
And
not understanding. Are we talking about June 8th is when we, by June 3rd, we submit names? I'm not
Yes.
ready to submit
No.
names in 2 days.
No.
No.
Let me clarify. This Thursday, May 28th, is when we are suggesting to have a special call meeting only to adopt a resolution to set the election date.
For August 18th.
Correct, and to set the qualifying period. That's
Yes.
all.
So that's,
Okay.
in essence, it's
All
a
right,
short
and I-
meeting, similar
It-
to
it-
our budget meeting,
Frankly, it should be
what we set
a
millage.
it should be a less than 5-minute meeting, frankly, because there's really not a whole lot of discussion on it. So it's really just a motion to adopt the resolution, a second, and that's it, a vote.
And
The
Mayor,
greater discussion,
Mayor, if I may, since this physical meeting will take place at the Rebecca Sosa Theater, we only have really tomorrow and the day after to get ready for this meeting. I would feel more comfortable doing it June 8th, the full meeting in person. So to give us time to get the theater properly set up, because we're gonna need to come up with some rules as to social distancing and masks and all that for people coming into the building. So I would feel more comfortable if I had more time until June 8th, but it's up to you.
I agree. I agree. June 8th, whatever. That's the in my mind, fine.
In person, Bill, right?
June 8th is fine.
Right.
But I want this meeting in person, and I I'll wear my mask or whatever. I'm such a beautiful
of course.
person, but I'll wear my mask. And we'll do what we have to do. But this meeting has to be done not virtually. It cannot be done like this. This meeting has to be discussed in person with people's. So my opinion is June 8th, a regular council meeting, 6 p.m., whatever the protocols are, at the community center, and then we'll make our decision on how we're going to do the August meeting and how we're going to do the appointment meeting.
Right.
And that's my proposal.
Mayor, just
Mayor,
so that
Mayor, I happen to agree. Mayor, I happen to agree with you, but unfortunately, that's the day before the June 9th deal, that we're supposed to have something in place for the election. Does that leave us enough time,
That's
sir?
lovely.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I think it does. If we do it June 8th.
One day?
no,
Mayor,
June 8th.
if I can clarify, Mayor and Councilman Best, I think the idea from what I'm hearing is to conduct a virtual meeting, special call this Thursday. And we would set the
No.
election date for August 18th and set the qualifying period for June 9th to June 11th. That's what we would do virtually this Thursday. At the next regular council meeting on Monday, June 8th, the proposal is to meet at the community center in person, where the council would conduct its regular city council meeting, and an agenda item on that agenda would be to make the interim appointment. If you want to use the June meeting to discuss further the interim appointment and wait until the second meeting in June to have a vote, that's up to you. But I think from a timing perspective with the county, in order to make sure that we're able to do everything we need to do, from noticing to getting the ballots right, we do need to get that done by May 28th. You do not need to make the appointment by May 28th or by May 29th, but you do need to call a special election this week.
Billy,
You know what?
Mayor,
That's fine with me.
listen, let's do
fine with
the
me.
29th, let's do the 28th virtual, and then we'll talk about it, and then
So what I heard was to go ahead and schedule the meeting for May 28th at 6 p.m. virtually via Zoom, as we've been doing.
and then go with the mayor's suggestion to have it live at the Rebecca
June 8th.
Sosa.
On June 8th.
Correct.
For
Correct.
June 8th. Okay.
Okay.
I think the mayor's spot on there.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Do they have to vote on it, Heidi?
I'm sorry?
Do they have to vote on it?
I don't think there's anything to vote on this evening. I
We all
think
agree.
No. I mean, as to the June 8th and physical meeting.
I
Well,
don't think
that's
we need
up
to
to-
vote on that,
that's up-
but
That's up to council. It's I don't know.
Right.
if you'd like to have a vote
Whatever.
on having a June 8th meeting in person, that's fine, but by consensus, it's.
Through the chair, I'd like to call for the vote on that.
I second that.
Okay. Okay, so that vote, that proposal is the June, what June, what
June
what?
8th, June 8th, Mayor.
June 8th, we're gonna meet in person,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Sir.
I'll entertain a motion. I entertain a motion. We got it.
Motion to move, sir.
Call the vote.
Motion to move. Motion to move.
Second.
And I got a second. Second, call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata? I think she. Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bain?
I agree, yes. Okay, so we're gonna have a virtual meeting on the 28th, you said?
Yes,
Yes,
at 6
Mayor.
o'clock, Bill.
Can I just confirm
28th.
that the council, that you're all available this Thursday, May 28th at 6 p.m.? Does that time work for all of you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
Counselor.
yes.
Okay, so we'll
Yes,
go ahead and
yes.
notice a virtual meeting for May 28th, and we will make arrangements for an in-person meeting on Monday, June 8th.
Yes.
Correct.
That's correct.
Erica, you good with that?
Correct, mundo.
Got all of it.
Telemundo.
I'll be looking forward to seeing all you and
Heidi,
kissing
can you
and hugging. I
unshare
don't
the
care what they
document
say.
now?
Yes.
What's that?
All right, there we go.
Are there any other
And then-
questions on that
well-
process?
No, Eric,
Okay, so-
Katie, I think you spun it fine for us.
On June 8th, we can go ahead and recommend people that we might want to sit in the seat. Is that correct?
I think I heard that June 3rd, we should have proposed people that we would all want. I think I heard that earlier.
Okay.
Mayor,
Is that right?
point was, yes, the point was to have, since the agenda for the June 8th meeting goes out on June 3rd, the idea is that any council members who wish to put someone's name forth for nomination, that they provide that name to the clerk, and that way the rest of the council can review that person, reach out to them, whatever they wish to do. And then have them considered at the
June
June
8th.
8th meeting, and hopefully that person,
Gotcha.
if the council wants to make a motion that night to appoint, we can have someone appointed Monday, June 8th, and they can take the dais that evening in
All
person.
right. There's no way to get away from a special election to spend all that money.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, Bill, I think.
No, Mayor, we do have to have a special election. Like I mentioned, because of the timing, a special election is required. Had the resignation been effective in November, then the appointment could have been made at the December meeting, and the council could have voted to defer the election instead of having a special election. They could have deferred to have it at the April general election, but it's just a matter of the timing and when all of this is taking place.
I got you.
And Mayor, it's really, what we're doing, Mayor, is piggybacking on the August election. So it's actually less cost than having a standalone special election.
Thank you, William.
Let me ask another question. If nobody wants to qualify or go ahead for the special election, can we save some money there?
Yeah, then whoever the interim appointment is stays until April.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way.
I got you.
So if
All
nobody runs, if the person runs unopposed, then we don't need to have an election.
Correct.
Right.
All right. So that takes care of that. I guess now we're on to the city attorney. Anything from you?
No, Mayor, I think I've said enough.
He doesn't want any more liability.
For the first time, I agree with that. Anything from city attorney and city attorney's office?
No, Mayor.
The city attorney, nothing. How about the city manager?
Nothing, Mayor. Just trying to get through this flooding issue.
I understand.
I just got a message that what happened was we got hit with a double whammy because it also happened to be high tide when the rains came.
Yeah.
So now the tide is starting to recede. So and South Florida Water Management has opened up. So it's starting to go down, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I can see my yard too. I'm tired of swimming. Anything from the city? Well, of course, we're gonna have people talk from the city council. Anybody have anything to say?
Yeah, Bill, I'd like to say I appreciate the city's indulgence to allow me to deliver that Memorial Day address on Facebook and YouTube and on the city website. And God bless these poor souls that were killed in all our wars previously. Thank you, sir.
Great job.
Well accepted. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes,
Okay.
I'd like to, Mayor. I wanted to, it's,
Go ahead, Maria.
okay. I wanted to tell Councilwoman Zapata to wish her the best of luck with the election and to let her know that she'll be missed and that it's been a pleasure serving with you on the council. I wanted to congratulate again our 2020 seniors and their families. And I'm so glad the parade was from what I've heard, everyone just thought the whole community was just so proud of them and seeing them. So it was a great event. And also, the last thing is that I wanted to thank Councilman Best for the virtual celebration. You held it together beautifully. And I had a lot of people texting me saying it was just gorgeous delivery. So thank you for doing that. And for Memorial Day, you know, it's such a special day for all of us to remember our servicemen and women.
Thank you, Maria.
Anybody else?
Mayor, if I may, I forgot one thing. You know, the TGK expansion issue was supposed to go to the commission June 2nd, next week. And we've been I've sent an email to Commissioner Sosa's office, and I know Mayor Dino has been in contact with Pepe Diaz's office too. And I just had some information today that they're putting it off until the July meeting. So it's not going to be next week. And we've asked that if we could see a copy of that report once it's available before it gets to the commission in July, so we can see what their proposals are.
Okay.
Thank
you, William. Anybody else? This meeting's adjourned. It's in the book.
Billy, nice job. Billy, nice job.
Virtually, it's in the books.
It's in the book.
See you Thursday. See you on Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Bye-bye.
See you Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Aw.